Raheem Sterling to Chelsea might be one of the weirdest transfers I've ever seen, and yes, that includes Arsenal swapping Alexis Sanchez for Mkhitaryan. But of course, right everyone, it is Finn here, and of course in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Raheem Sterling situation and the fact that he might be on his way from Manchester City to Chelsea for £45 million.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I mean, I can't be the only one who thinks that this is an extremely odd transfer. Look, don't get me wrong, on Chelsea's half and for Raheem Sterling, I think that this could be a brilliant transfer. But the fact that Manchester City are letting go of, yes, I'm going to call him that, one of their star players to one of their biggest rivals is absolutely absurd. And especially considering Raheem Sterling is only 27 years old. I mean, as we know in football, that is the prime of your career. To let a player like Raheem Sterling go to one of your biggest rivals, I just can't let it go. I'm very aware that Manchester City have this policy, this open door policy, that if a player wants to go to a club and if a club wants to buy one of their players, and if the player doesn't push against it, that they'll gladly let that player go. They won't hold on to it too much. But to let Raheem Sterling go to Chelsea, I just can't wrap that around my mind. The fact that you think that Raheem Sterling is more worthy to leave Manchester City than Jack Grealish, once again, can't wrap my head around that. As I said, for Chelsea's behalf, I don't think it's a bad transfer whatsoever, especially for £45 million plus add-ons. I think that's a steal deal. I mean, it was only a year or two ago where we heard that Raheem Sterling could go to various different clubs for up to £100 million.
Tell him to bring me my money.
I still think Raheem Sterling could be worth that amount of money. I mean, if you look at what he's achieved at Manchester City, he almost could go down as a legend. At 7 years at the club, if you look at the trophies he's won, I mean, 4 Premier Leagues, 1 FA Cup, 5 Carabao Cups, and 2 Community Shields, and he's played big roles in those achievements. I mean, in 340 games, or 337 games if we want to be precise, for the Citizens, he's gotten 131 goals and 94 assists. Raheem Sterling has been an absolute legend at Manchester City, and they really are losing one of their biggest stars. Look, I think a huge reason to why they might be getting rid of Raheem the Dream Sterling is maybe bringing in the likes of someone like Erling Haaland. Now, yes, I know they play totally different positions, but maybe Pep Guardiola is looking to change the system and the way that Manchester City play as a whole now that they've got a proper number 9 up front, and maybe he doesn't see Raheem Sterling kind of fitting into that system. Once again, though, I still can't argue against it. It is a very, very weird transfer. Saying that, I do know that Raheem Sterling will definitely get more game time now that he's going to Chelsea, or if he ends up going to Chelsea, which seems very, very likely at the moment. I mean, if you look at the winger options currently at Manchester City, I mean, obviously you've got the likes of Jack Grealish coming into the club. Of course, Bernardo Silva's there. You've got Riyad Mahrez and so many other fantastic players. And as we know, Pep Guardiola, if you're not playing well one week, you're out the next week. So, of course, Raheem Sterling, once again, when he slips up once or twice, he's out of the squad for quite a while. But as I said, I just can't excuse it because he is a fantastic player. One of only 3 players to score over 100 goals under Pep Guardiola, with the likes of Sergio Aguero and Lionel Messi. And that's not bad company to be in.
Hey, that's pretty good.
As I said though, I do believe Sterling going to Chelsea, it could potentially be quite exciting. I mean, Sterling now in his career has played for Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, the 3 favourites in the Premier League at the moment. So once again, tiny bit of a glory hunter, but I won't dive into that too much. But looking at Chelsea, how he fits into the system, that's also going to be something that's quite interesting. As you know, Chelsea haven't always been notorious for using wingers over the last few years. They kind of use a fullback system with attacking midfielders on the left attacking midfield side and the right attacking midfield side. But saying that, they have put wingers in those positions where it has worked in the past. Obviously, the likes of Christian Pulisic in modern days, obviously Eden Hazard, that kind of way was when they did use a winger system. But once again, as I said, Raheem Sterling, how he fits in to this Chelsea team, he could even fit in as a false 9. As we know, the Romelu Lukaku problems, he's off to Inter Milan, obviously. So maybe he could kind of fit into that false 9 position so that someone like Kai Havertz doesn't have to. He could almost drift wider. As I said, to me, it is just definitely one of the weirdest transfers we've seen. As I said, I'm a Manchester United fan. I've watched our club trade the likes of Henrik Mkhitaryan for Alexis Sanchez. I mean, it seemed initially like a good transfer on our behalf.
I've never been so wrong in all my life.
I mean, maybe I'm over-exaggerating. I want you guys to tell me in the comment section down below, am I over-exaggerating this? Is this a totally normal transfer, or am I just like totally out of my mind? I mean, Raheem Sterling, even for the likes of England, if you think to the 2018 World Cup, even though lots of people gave him so much crap for not passing it to Harry Kane, I mean, at the end of the day, or that pass between him and Harry Kane, at the end of the day, he was by far England's most crucial player. in that World Cup. He is without a doubt a phenomenal talent. Two-time Liverpool Young Player of the Year, he won the Golden Boy Award. Raheem Sterling has been nothing exceptional being a superstar throughout his career. Yes, I know he slipped up from time to time, but when he shows up big time, and he is, in my opinion, a big game player. And maybe, I mean, it could make the Premier League a bit more interesting. As we know, Manchester City have dominated the Premier League for quite a few years now. And obviously for them to give players like Gabriel Jesus to an opponent like Arsenal and Raheem Sterling to an opponent like Chelsea, maybe it could make the Premier League slightly more exciting again. Maybe it could make it slightly more competitive. But as I said, I just can't excuse getting rid of your best players to one of your biggest rivals. I'm almost surprised that Raheem Sterling didn't opt to go overseas somewhere, maybe to a team like a Real Madrid, who I believe he could end up playing for, a team like Bayern Munich, or maybe a PSG, or somewhere abroad. The fact that he's remained in the Premier League, I do find slightly odd. I mean, to me, Raheem Sterling has proven that he is a Premier League worthy player, and he's achieved a lot in the Premier League over the years, as I said, for both Liverpool and Manchester City. So the fact that he didn't want to prove it abroad in a team like Real Madrid, that I easily think he would fit into that squad. I mean, can you imagine a front three of Vinicius Jr., Karim Benzema, and Raheem the Dream Sterling? I mean, once again, what a front three that would be, and another guaranteed Champions League for Real Madrid. And once again, I'm kind of surprised there that maybe Raheem Sterling didn't go to Real Madrid for obviously a Champions League, but saying that maybe Real Madrid at the end of the day weren't interested in him. I don't know what he's necessarily going to achieve at the likes of Chelsea. Obviously, I think defensively they definitely need to step up after losing the likes of Antonio Rudiger, obviously Christian Eriksen, obviously Thiago Silva's getting a bit older, and they definitely do need to step up. Obviously, if they end up getting Matthias de Ligt from Juventus, I think that is definitely a step in the right direction. But I do feel like defensively, maybe Chelsea needed to sort that out first before going for Raheem Sterling. But as I said, at the end of the day, absolutely brilliant transfer for Chelsea. But Pep Guardiola, you've definitely made some weird decisions, but letting Raheem Sterling go to Chelsea, if this is a done deal, if this officially ends up happening, I mean, it really proves that football, I don't know whether I'm going to say it's gone too far or it just gets better and better, because from an entertainment point of view, it is brilliant. We can admit that. I mean, as a Manchester United fan, absolutely sobbing. All of our opponents just seem to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and we're here getting Melissia from Feyenoord. I mean, I'm not going to dive too far into that, but ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much it for today's video. Obviously, just kind of summarizing what's happening with the likes of Raheem Sterling. As I said, moving from Man City to Chelsea for supposedly £45 million plus add-ons, the same as Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. Obviously, once again, if this ends up happening, what a brilliant transfer it would end up being. I kind of just summarized how it would impact both Man City and Chelsea, how I think the teams are going to adapt around it. Guys, I hope you ended up enjoying this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button down below to tell me that you liked the video. It's the easiest way to do it, along with hitting that subscribe button. Obviously, once again, subscribers have been growing insanely as of late. I do appreciate all the support, and I would love it if it did end up continuing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your boy Finn, F-Y-double-N, Raheem the Dream Sterling. What a transfer.